International Conference on Arts and Humanities.
Based on poetry translation, and it is a subcategory of literary translation. So I'm going ahead with the presentation, and I would like to give you a brief, brief outline. What is translation? Wikipedia defines translation is the communication of the meaning of source language text by means of an equivalent target language text. Actually, that is the basic outline, basic function of translation. And there are 5 major categories: technical, legal, scientific, religious, and literary translation. Since the research is based on literary translation, I'm going to talk more about literary translation. What is literary translation? Translating literary texts is literary translation. There is a cutting-edge difference between literary text and other types of text like scientific text and religious text. This unique feature is in literature, in a literary text, the authors, the writers do not express the things that they want to express directly. They want to make the text so effective and potential and so natural and realistic to the reader's mind. But to do that, they do not express the things directly. They use a creative language which is full of rhetoric, it's kind of an ironical rhetorical language, full of literary technique. So you all know these are very creative things, creative stuff. So in literary translation, all these values are supposed to be found in the literary text as well. To make an emotional awakening, to create literary delight, literary amusement in the target reader is kind of a responsibility of a literary translator. So you understand now, since a literary text is a product of a creative process, in the translation also, in the process of translation also, creativity should be there. So that's why it says literary translation is the most difficult and intricate subcategory among the entire subcategory of translation. And creativity, I would like to talk about creativity. Actually, it's a difficult term to define. Creativity is kind of a unique ability of imagination, innovativeness, and which is always associated with liveliness and freshness. So reproduction is not like that. Reproduction means you are reproducing what is the source text as it is in a different language. But when it's come to a recreation, you are applying something called creativity into the process of translation as well. That is recreation. So now I'm coming to the poetry part. Literature incorporates 3 major categories: poetry, prose, and drama. So poetry is a literary genre which is endowed with liveliness and sort of potentiality. So you see the features of creativity is also there. The kind of liveliness and the potentiality is also there. So you see kind of similarity between creativity and poetry. So what distinguishes poetry from prose, or what differentiates poetry from prose, is meter, or the melody, or the rhythm, or the kind of musicality you find in poetry. So Shi Abe is one of the researchers in the field of translation. He states, meter is a systematic regulating rhythm. It creates and organizes content. Meter gives dignity and memorability, conveys tempo, mood, passion, persuasion beyond what is possible in prose. In the hands of great master like Shakespeare, meter provides grace, energy, elevation, and expressiveness. So you understand what is called meter here. So you understand it's a creative thing. It's not kind of a technical thing. A lot of creativity is there. So now I'm looking to kind of the meter patterns available in English literature, because the research is supported by the translated text taken from English and Sinhala. So basically, when it's come to English literature, we find iambic pentameter. It's kind of 5 straight syllables and 5 unstraight syllables following one by the other. So they have iambic pentameter as well. So I'm really not good at those things. I'm just trying to tell you how difficult and how intricate these things are, and And there is no common ground between those things, kind of literary techniques, these meter patterns in English language and Sinhala language. So thereby it blocks what is called reproduction. We have to go for recreation. So based on the pattern or the format of the poem, we have portraits, blank verse, sonnet with the rhyming couplets and fevers and blah blah blah. And when it comes to Sinhala, so it's really a rigorous process. There are around 16 meter patterns as Edison describes, and these meter patterns applies for the poems written in portraits, 4-line verse. So I would like to explain just one. The second one, when it's come to Pyungi, the first line, it has to have 8 syllables, and then second line 11, again 8, 14, and all together we have to have 41 syllables. So you see there is no common ground between these features when it's come to English literature and those meter patterns in English literature and Sinhala literature. So we can't reproduce all these things. We have to go for the solution called recreation. And this poem, I'm now trying to show you the difference practically. Because this source text is 2 lines in the upper bow, is the we look before and after and find for what is not. So it is the source text. It is written in English language. So it caters to set of audience which are Westerners. So their flavor, their context is different. So translator has to remove this foreignness from the source text and apply what is our own. So that is where we need creativity. So and this is the exact translation of the above line, about 2 lines. So I would like to show you, I'm not that reciting poems or singing verse, I would like to show you the difference of, I want you to feel this difference. It goes like this. Bala itiri pahuniti neti deyakatama lala ula henuma siteki apuruma. So it's our context, we feel it, it's our flavor. So it is not in the source text, actually it can't be. So that is how, the translator has to understand the context or the flavor of the target audience and apply it. So that is where recreation and creativity matters. And this poem, actually, this is the translation in Sinhala. So you can apply the same melody which I sang before to the Sinhala poem into the translation. So here I want to show, in a translation, the translated text can be better than the source text. Why this is possible? Because it's not a reproduction, it is a recreation. In the first poem, it is a source text poem, you see the end rhyme is not there. But if you go to I know most of you do not understand Sinhala, but you can see the phonetic transcription. The end rhyme has been maintained in the translation. So it actually carries a better melody. So that's why we need recreation, and recreation is there. Recreative text, translated text which has the creativity there is so effective, and it talks to the hearts of the reader, and thereby it creates kind of an emotional awakening and literary delight and literary amusement. So that is why we deny the rhetorics. When it's come to poetry translation, we especially need a recreative approach, not an approach like similar to reproduction. And this is again another recreation. The first verse in 4 lines, but the translator has changed the pattern or the format of the source text, and he has given a free verse format. So we see it's a creation. So that's why Ferdinando says that translating a poem means composing a whole new poem. So yet we can't call it as a creation. We have to call it as a recreation, because what is in the source text has been decoded in the translation, in the translated text. So it is not a whole new creation. We call it as a recreation. And this is a nice translation. I always try to do this kind of translation, but I can't because I'm not that both the languages. Actually, we have to have a good language here. We have to think whether we are going to say yes for the Facebook language or a mobile phone language. We don't get this kind of translation in Sri Lanka. So we have to think, I think most of the language people who were yesterday here, they are also here today. We have to think, as the researchers and the scholars in the field of linguistics, to which language, what is our responsibility, whether we are going to say yes for this Facebook language, FII language, or I don't know. That's my idea. And in this, this has a different melody. You can enjoy it. It's like this. In the translation, you get Ehit Saraswati Nite O Nubai Kisi Kalak Redu Asit Usas Isun Hime Univat O Oba Medi Pahan Gelunai. So we understand our flavor. Translator has to apply our flavor and remove the foreign sense, then only the reader can enjoy it. And this is again, I'm sorry I have to go back to this slide again. So I want to show another point which shows the creativity. In the source text, it has a word called knowledge. We all understand what is meant by knowledge, and it carries the explicit meaning. It carries the explicit meaning, we understand it. But when it's come to the translator, he has taken it as a Saraswati. Saraswati is a goddess, and in our context we understand, we have no problem with that. So Saraswati is the goddess of knowledge. So the translator applies he applies the explicit meaning. So we see it's really effective. In this poem also, this translation, we see the explicit meaning in Mahabamba is Brahma. So it's okay when it's come to the context of the audience here in the Sinhala text, but when it's being transferred into English, where the target audience is set of Westerners, the Mahabamba would be a complicated term. So translator take it as a creator. So he gives the explicit meaning there. So we see the involvement of creativity and the importance of it. And that is it. Thank you.